Hello and good afternoon and welcome to another week in our garden. Very hot today, so won't be doing a lot of work today. Well, until this evening anyway. When it cools down, that's when we can get a bit done. I thought we'd start at the shed and I'll show you the garlic. I have lifted it. My neighbour brought some of hers round and it had got the arrowfly maggots in. Not very nice, but she's done it so she can freeze it. Broke the clothes out and froze it. Anyway, I had to take mine up to check, so I lifted it and touching wood we hadn't got it, but next year I will make sure that the insect mesh goes on the garlic when I plant it. I'll show you what I've got. This is it. There's the two varieties there. Now if you remember right, I had a very bad attack of rust on my garlic, so I will set new garlic next year. I'll get some new bulbs and put those in rather than replant any of these. Some are a bit splitty, but that's alright. If you get those, just use them first, that'd be fine. They are drying out nicely now in this sun. This one's got a way to go, but they will dry out. Yeah, they're getting there now. As soon as they're dried out, I'll see what we're going to do with them. Probably just tie them on a string, I don't know yet. Now another little job I've been doing under the shade of my vine, it keeps me a bit cooler while I'm under here, is potting up all those seeds that we planted a fortnight ago, 3 weeks, fortnight I think. So I've started potting them up into cell trays. I'll show you. As you can see, all the flowers have come up. These are Sweet William. Wallflowers are up. I might keep these wallflowers in these cells, but I shall pot them into a 1 litre pot, so we'll keep them longer that way. This is the Swedes. I'll let them get a little bit stronger and I'll plant them out in these groups straight into the beds out there, but we'll let them get a bit stronger and try and so the flea beetle won't tear them to pieces too much that way. When I've potted them, I've actually put another table here and I've put some hoops on and some insect mesh on. We've got to have insect mesh on everything now with the looks of it. The brassicas all in this end. There's the spring onion, I've moved that over into this side. Little bit of lettuce to follow on, and the Bellis Pirellis, I put those in as well. I might need to set up another bench like this, and you can actually water through this, but the insects, and I put this bit of a bit of bungee on there, look, just to hold the mesh to at the bottom. The rest is stapled to the timber, so nothing will get through that way. And it's seems to be the way forward now. We have to cover everything up. These will obviously go into the tunnels, the vegetable tunnels we've got already full. As those empty, then these can go in there. Let's go and have a look at this fruit cage and see what the fruit's doing. Now these strawberries on these 3 lines here, they're the early strawberries and they're just about finishing now. So when we've done the last pick, I'll get the hedge trimmer, hedge shears, and go along and take the leaves off. And I'm thinking I might just lift a little bit and revamp these strawberries, because they did all right, but the early strawberries could do better. So I think we need to put some better soil underneath them and ridge them up so that we can bring them on a little better. We'll just show you some of the late strawberries that are coming through now. These are the later cropping ones. As you can see, they're a lot bigger than the early crop. The early crop was very small. When you look at these, look at that, look, lovely strawberries coming through now, and quite a few of them as well. Look. Early strawberries a bit small, later strawberries perfect. So we're right somewhere. These are Malling Juno, which are the early raspberries, so there'll be a floricane. These are next year's canes here, so we have to sort of hold those out the way while we harvest this year's canes. As you can see, they're not bad berries. We have picked quite a few of these actually, but decent sized berry. They'll be fine. They're ready for picking again today. Probably be this evening though, because it's far too hot at the moment. As you can see further down, look, there's a nice picking of raspberries there. If I could just show you the second crop. These are the later raspberries. If you remember, I put this other rail up to hold them in. It is working. What I'll have to do is keep pushing them in now, make sure they go in. The idea being that there'll be a wall of raspberries to pick. They're getting there now. They will hit this net, and then these will be the biggest crop, similar to the strawberries. The early crop, it gets all the bad weather and not quite as big as these main crops. The second crops are always a bit bigger, so we're expecting quite a big crop out of these raspberries. Now I'm very disappointed with the red currants this year. The late frosts, these berries should have been right up these stems. The late frost damaged all the flowers, so it's only the flowers that were underneath that didn't get the frost, and they've cropped all right. We will have a picking off them, as you can see, but nothing like what they should have been. Look, there's nothing at all on that bush there, but there will be some, but not many. The red gooseberries are nearly ready, just a little bit more sun on them. Again, there's not so many on them as what there should be. There is some, and they're still as prickly as what there was last year. The white currants were really hit with the late frost. As you can see, there's very few berries on them at all, but never mind. The blueberries, although not quite so many berries, but they are just beginning to turn now, so I'm quite pleased with those. As you can see, this should have been covered. Frost have really devastated them, but never mind. I know we've had a bad frost year, but you couldn't really have come in here and fleeced everything to keep the frost off. It's just not viable, so we'll take what we've got. We'll still have some fruit. The peas, we did take a picking last week, I think, before the football, and they were absolutely delicious. So we're due to pick some more. It'll probably be this evening when it cools a little, or tomorrow morning early on. We'll fill a bucket or so with them, but there is a lot. I just thought I'd show you the peas that Benny sent me with the purple pods, and they've got this lovely flower as well, so they're doing quite well. They're hitting the top of the state. They do have a name, but I can't pronounce it, so we'll just call them the Benny's purples. And they're very nice. People are saying that they may be shy to grow, but these have got up there nicely. I'm very pleased, and there's quite a few peas coming on them, so that's good. Another thing that Benny sent me were these Coco de Pampo. They're coming nicely, look. Remember, these are for seed only, and then we'll grow them on a big scale next year. Actually, I thought there was climbers, but they're not. Obviously this year the slugs have attacked the leaves, something terrible. I'll have to put some more pellets down, I think. But they're doing alright, we're getting a crop. Yeah, all the way down the line we're getting a crop. Just a quick look at the onions. The bulbs are all beginning to swell now. The tops are looking okay. The biggest problem here is when the pigeons come into them and take off, and they tend to knock them about a little. But they're doing alright. Get some a bit more sun, get them a little bit bigger, and then tops will start dying and we'll turn them out. These are the carrots that are in these big pots. They're doing alright. I think I went a bit heavy-handed on the other pot. I might have sneezed, you know. And I keep them covered with insect mesh, obviously, all the time. As they get a bit bigger, I'll put a hoop in and then still keep them covered until they're finished. I'm just going to put the shade on the top here because it's getting awfully hot in here with the sun coming out. Whew. That's better. I should have put this this cover on earlier, but I don't know why I didn't. But we'll have to have a quick look in here because it's quite hot. So as you can see, everything's doing fine. It's 36 degrees in here, so it's quite hot for the peppers. The peppers are coming on now, quite a few on that one. On the big guys over this side, they're putting some on now, so we're quite pleased with those. We do have the aubergines in here, they're doing alright as well. I put the fan on its second speed now. The only thing that is struggling a little bit in here is the basil. I think it's just getting a bit too hot for them. So what I should do is I'll lift these 3 pots out, repot them and take them up to the courtyard where it's a little bit cooler, and then Diane will find it easier to fetch it from there than coming all this way. So I'm quite pleased with the peppers. Now we'll have to get out of this greenhouse, it's too hot and too humid. Oh, let's go. These are the potatoes we put in these pots. I don't know if you can remember. They have flowered. They are now beginning to go down, so they're not actually far off being wanting to lift, and we'll see what we've got. We'll give them another week. Now we've popped back to the shed and got under the grapevine again. It's lovely and cool, and there's a little bit of breeze coming through, and the vine just gives you that nice piece of shade. That's why I put the seedlings here, because they're out of the direct sun. Now it's far too hot today and tomorrow, I think, to be doing any serious picking, but we will film what we pick because it could be late in the evening or very early in the morning. So we'll let you know and show you how we go on with a little bit of picking. I'm going to have a cup of tea in a moment, then I'm going to finish off some of this potting up, see if I can get it down a bit, and also put it under the insect mesh, keep it safe. So that'll be it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed our little walk, and my goodness, it was hot in that bottom greenhouse. Never mind. Hope you've enjoyed it. and hopefully we'll see you next week. Do take care everyone. Bye now.